Hi everyone, welcome to Maximum Attack Rallying and your Monday dose of rallying chit chat. Big news today. I think I might have actually got a prediction right, maybe even two. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. So, as I thought he might, Nikolay Gryazin came out on top at Rally Sierra Morena at the weekend, the first round of the European Rally Championship. He beat Johan Bernardo and Jose Antonio Suarez, so that was big news. However, while Gryazin took all of the headlines, that masked a much deeper story and plenty of drama. In fact, so much drama that it almost seemed as if pretty much everyone crashed out of the rally on Sunday. I know I'm being a bit melodramatic there, but there were more incidents over the weekend than I can possibly mention in this video, but I will try and pick out some of the headlines, as well as some of the other little notable things that were going on beyond that Gryazin victory. So for UK fans, James Williams was one of the first exitees in dramatic fashion. He hit a barrier on stage 3, putting himself out of the rally. That was a shame because he's shown good pace on his ERC outings, but has had some incidents. Continuing the UK theme, John Armstrong, he got off to a strong start, but unfortunately things got steadily worse. So he had a stall on the Super Special on Friday, but he was fastest out of the blocks of the ERC runners on Friday morning, setting the fastest stage time. Note how I said fastest of the ERC runners. We will get to that in a moment. Sadly for Armstrong, on the stage after Williams went off, Armstrong had a little moment and went off the road. He lost over a minute and dropped down out of the top 10. His rally ultimately ended on Sunday morning with a crash into a barrier as well. He broke a steering arm. Weirdly, Robert Vervez, he was also in the wars. He went off at the same point as Armstrong on Sunday morning, but he did manage to limp on in his Skoda, ultimately retiring on stage 12. They weren't the only potential championship runners to have issues though. So on Sunday, Simone Tempestini, he crashed out, so did Dominic Stratesky. So there was another two Sunday crashes. That was a bit of a drama. Top seed and 2022 champion Efren Lorena, he did not crash, but he did unfortunately not live up to his billing. He was sidelined by mechanical troubles on Saturday, so that was his rally over. Things did, however, go a little bit better for Andrea Mabellini and Mikko Marksi. They finished 4th and 5th, with the former winning the power stage. Mads Ostberg, another potential championship contender, he had an up and down rally. He should have finished in 6th place, but he had a transmission issue on the final stage that pushed him down to 8th. Weirdly though, he also suffered some issues with a sticking throttle pedal that got jammed up with mud. That seems a bit of a weird thing, doesn't it, considering how many times that Citroen has been used on gravel. You wouldn't think that mud in the throttle mechanism would be a problem at this stage, but it was, and that kept him out of the lead battle. So remember how I said it was John Armstrong that was fastest of the ERC runners on the first stage of Saturday? Well, that is because there was a little bit of a side story there. So while Nikolay Gryazin ultimately won the rally, that doesn't tell the whole story. So it was actually the non-ERC registered Alejandro Cachon that was leading the rally for most of Saturday. He was in the lead until stage 6, until Gryazin took over. So he didn't feature much in the coverage because he was not registered for the championship, but it does show that Gryazin did not have everything his own way, and that there was some local interest there in terms of a Spanish driver upsetting the order. Speaking of non-championship crews, we did of course have a pre-Canary Islands face-off between Thierry Neuville and Elfyn Evans in their Rally 1 cars. This is where my second prediction came to pass. I was on a roll at the weekend, so as I thought, Thierry Neuville came out on top of that one. So he was faster than Evans on all but 2 of the stages that they contested. Both cars did withdraw from the rally before the end, which is a fairly normal thing to happen. Obviously they would have won the rally being in superior machinery, but they both withdrew, so that didn't impact the overall result in the end and gave that victory to Gryazin. Did it teach us too much? Well, that's hard to say. I didn't see too much on social media in terms of the teams. Obviously, they weren't talking too much, and we don't know whether they were messing around with car setup and things. So it's not necessarily a complete reflection of their overall pace. It doesn't mean that Thierry Neuville is going to roundly beat Evans at the Canary Islands, but it does show Neuville's intent, doesn't it? Just moving on to a few other little results then. So it was Jos Verstappen that came out on top in the ERC Masters. He seems to be doing a good job of turning his hand to the world of rallying, doesn't it? He's got off to a strong start in Belgium this year as well. Tristan Charpentier won ERC3, so that was a good result for him. And in the juniors, it was Sergei Perez that came out on top in a category that was dominated by Peugeot 208s and Opel Corsas. They seem to be the car to have in that category right now. It was Kalle Kalberg who was second in the juniors. For the Irish fans, Craig Rahill came out on top in that battle. He was fourth. He was behind, Jasper Vahe. So that was the juniors, and that was the first round of the European Rally Championship. Did anyone stand out to you? Were there any potential champions in the making there? I know it's very early days, but did anyone impress you in particular? As I said, it was definitely a dramatic one. The weather played its part, and lots of mud and detritus being dragged onto the road, which definitely didn't help. It was a tricky rally indeed, very bumpy in places. So a very interesting start to the ERC. Do let me know in the comments below what you thought. As always, make sure you follow me over on socials and do hit that subscribe button. That definitely helps me out. And I will see you again next time.